For the Kyongbi and Family Pledge, let us all welcome our Reverend Edgar Tanate.
Our dear brothers and sisters, today is May 23, 2021, the 12th day of the 4th month, 9th year of Channel Group. Let us offer our bow to the parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. Chonjin Champamunimke Kyongbe Baro. Let's recite the family pledge. Family pledge number 3. Our family, the honor of Chonilgu, pledges to perfect the 4 great realms of heart, the 3 great kingships, and the realm of the royal family by centering on true love. Meaning of family pledge number 3. The perfection of the 4 great realms of heart is the path we have to go to perfect ourselves as human beings. The 4 great realms of heart are the realm of the child's heart, the realm of the brother and sister's heart, the realm of husband and wife's heart, the realm of the parent's heart. The 4 great realms of heart should be perfected within the realm of Heavenly Parent's vertical heart so that we can liberate Heavenly Parent from His sorrow. Our family is the foundation for realizing and actualizing the 4 great realms of heart. Therefore, we should live a life of love within our own family. Families that have completed and perfected the 4 great realms of heart and 3 great kingships are the ideal families. Heavenly Parent holds the kingship over heavens, and the parents holds the kingships over the earth. The sons and daughters are the kings and queens who inherit this. The place where all these 3 great kingships are bound together and bear fruit is our own ideal family. Only after realizing the 4 great realms of heart and the 3 great kingships can we enter the realm of the royal family or the royal clan. All of you should now become part of the royal family centering on true love. Unless you pass through all of these gates, you cannot meet Heavenly Parent in the original world. Adieu.
For our opening prayer, let us all welcome our brother Elisar Gapol.
Our beloved Heavenly Parent, and beloved victorious true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, we thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to attend to you united together as one human family through this virtual Sunday service, Heavenly Parent. We in the Heavenly Parents Holy Community are thankful enough for the blessings that you have endowed to us. Heavenly Parent, we know how great the task ahead that was set before us, but with the guidance of our model, our true parents, we know nothing is impossible. Let this day forward be a moment of joy as we give back the glory to you, O Heavenly Parent. It is our burning desire, Heavenly Parent, to really give you joy as your sons and daughters. Thank you for the wisdom that we are not just meant to have fear to you, just to follow your will, but most importantly for us to become your true sons and daughters who, because of our love to you, will wholeheartedly follow your will, no matter how difficult the road is ahead of us. With this in mind, O Heavenly Parent, we entrust everything to you to use us for your greatest glory. Thank you for the myriad of good spirits with us today and for always. This I humbly pray and I report in our names, Elisar and Mariluga Paul, Central Blessed Family, Aju.
Jew. For the scriptural reading, let us all welcome our brother Benji Takeshi Valiente.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Our reading for today is taken from the book of Mother of Peace, a memoir of Hak Jahan Moon. Chapter 2, The Restoration of Canaan in Heaven and on Earth. Over the decades, I have kept a particular photograph close to my heart. When I close my eyes, I can clearly see it. It is of a woman with a little girl on her back, holding the Korean flag. It was taken in the market of Anju, my hometown. The woman's face is flushed with desperation, and it looks as if she wants to grab onto someone and plead her difficult situation. The image is of my maternal grandmother, Jo Won-moo, carrying her daughter, my mother, Hong Sun-e, on her back, as she took part in the independence movement on the first day of March in 1919. My maternal uncle used to tell me stories as we look at that photo. Unfortunately, we did not bring it with us when we fled the north. It is probably safe somewhere in my hometown. And there was a very similar photograph of grandmother Jo waving the Korean flag, but this one was taken August 15, 1945, and in that photo, it is me she is carrying on her back. This time, her face is filled with joy, and she looks ready to embrace everyone she meets. Her expressions in those two photos contrast the sorrow of losing one's nation with the joy of gaining it back. Our sorrow over having lost God's world is soon to transform into the joy of gaining it back. Aju.
Jew. And for our weekly news report, let us all watch HJ Global News by Peace TV.
Hello dear members and welcome to another edition of HJ Global News. With the events marking the 61st anniversary of True Parents' Holy Wedding, the Providence for a Heavenly Unified Korea by 2023 has truly begun. This week we have prepared a special feature that gives an overview of the roadmap of a Heavenly Unified Korea. We will also feature some footage of the many activities conducted by members around the world. The COVID-19 pandemic is affecting social relations and reviving economic nationalism. The crisis has created a new kind of Cold War in Northeast Asia, undermining inter-Korean relations and raising the prospect of a military conflict. In their quest for a world of lasting peace, True Parents have presented a vision of a heavily unified Korea, which will offer prospects for solidarity and greater integration in order to bring solutions to contemporary issues. This year marks the 30th anniversary of True Parents' first visit to North Korea. For 45 days, several events celebrating the 61st anniversary of their holy wedding took place, including the International Leadership Conference, which was held in all continents. The theme of the conference was a peaceful unification of the Korean Peninsula. True Parents launched the Think Tank 2022 for the firm establishment of a heavily unified Korea, inviting people from all over the world.
여러분들의 수고와 정성이 나와 하나 돼서 하늘에 축복을 받는 자리, 하늘을 모실 수 있는 환경권을 만들었다는 것, 이거 대단한 축복이며 우리들의 행복입니다. 2023년은 물론이요, 2027년까지 여러분들이 더욱더 분발, 노력하여 세계 인류를 다 품을 수 있는 환경권을 만들 수 있는 그날을 향해서 전진하기를 바랍니다.
The expert group is now embarking on an 18-month journey towards a heavily unified Korea by 2023, triggering discussion forums in preparation for the 2021 Korean Peninsula Peace Summit. With the ideas and proposals that emerge from these debates, the Rally of Hope for a Heavily Unified Korea will be held in the 5 sub-regions of the country, stimulating the debate among citizens. These initiatives will bring the people's voice together in a million rally for national and world salvation for the peaceful unification of the peninsula scheduled to take place on February 2022. At the same time, the second training program for lecturers on the vision of a heavily unified Korea will be conducted, and conferences related to the sub-regional activities will be developed as part of the national education campaign. Twelve institutional organizations centered in UPF Korea will promote True Parents Peace Initiatives. 12 institutional organizations centered on UPF will promote True Parents Peace Initiatives, the creation of a peace bag on the border, the 5th UN office on the Korean Peninsula, the Korea-Japan Undersea Tunnel, and the development of Mount Kumgangsan tourism. The inside of the Mother of Peace who wipes away the tears of humanity will remain in the hearts of the world's citizens as the Mother of Unification, the Mother of Hope who illuminates the future of a Korea and a world united under God. In Taiwan, a pioneering effort has intensified since the blessing was officiated there in November 2019, and we have now received the good news that Pastor Yang Hye-che established a temple where she held a service with 50 members in the region of Eunlim, an area that previously had no foundation.
我觉得这里就像一个家一样，这边的伙伴大家都会互相的加油鼓励打气，而云林教会长也会像我们亲人一样。
After Pastor Yang began her pioneering activity, she had to take care of her in-laws, who were in serious health conditions. But still, devoting 4 hours a day to the mission, she was able to transmit motherly love in True Mother's place.
特别是当我看到彼此合照的时候，虽然目前还只是一个小小的果实，可是我想将它献给天父母、真父母，还有养我们。 还有对于你教会付出贡献的每一个人。
The Eunlim Church community is composed of young children, adults, elderly people who are at the center of the beautiful temple, creating a model of love and intergenerational harmony. There, the pastor considers the place as an earthly heavenly kingdom, encouraging them to achieve the goal of having more than 130 believers attending the Sunday service by the end of this year. In Burkina Faso, in the locality of Kiri, a blessing ceremony was held by heavenly tribal messiahs. The mayor of the locality, Mr. Pauline Sanu, who supports the vision of the blessing, took part in the ceremony and showed his willingness to create a collaborative framework for the well-being of the population. The heavenly tribal messiahs have thus brought a glimmer of hope for the restoration of the provinces by allowing 170 couples to start a new life. In the Dominican Republic, the 6th Blessing Festival for the reaffirmation of marriage vows took place. It was held in the province of Santiago and was attended by 80 people, 28 of whom were couples. The festival was successfully held under the theme Heavenly Parent, Homeland and Freedom. In Côte d'Ivoire, 5 heavily tribal messiahs couples organized several seminars in Abidjan and 6 other locations across the country. They recorded the participation of more than 100 people, including 43 couples, thus further extending the education on the value of the blessing. In Korea, UPF conducts various activities in each sub-region as part of the realization of a heavily unified Korea. In the province of Gangneung, Jeongneung, Gyeongnam, and on the island of Jeju, several events were held in strict compliance with the preventive measures against coronavirus. Several peacemakers who have distinguished themselves through the exemplary work have even been awarded Ambassadors for Peace. On May 9, the Rally of Hope marking the launch of Think Tank 2022 was held in 10 locations in the 5 sub-regions. Many leaders in society have been inspired by True Parents' vision for a heavily unified Korea under God, and the desire of these world leaders is to be part of its realization. They are committed to act as thought leaders of a central organization that will be the lead of a heavily unified world. The People's Union for North-South Unification, UPF, and Sanmu University, with the support of the Ministry of Unification and 16 self-run governments, the Peace Road 2021 March for a Heavily Unified Korea was organized. This year was particularly significant for relations with Japan, as it marks 20 years since an exemplary Korean citizen, Lee Soo-hyun, lost his life in Tokyo while trying to save a Japanese man who had fallen on the railroad tracks. On that day, 145 second-generation students from 30 countries were appointed honorary ambassadors who will promote such international initiative officially, recognized by the Ministry of Public Administration and Security of Korea. In the second part of the event, 70 cyclists began this march that will be joined by cyclists from 130 countries. Under the special leadership of Reverend Hong Dae-hee, the Mexico national leader, Juan Deria, a 21-day Tongil Mudo seminar was held, which is laying the foundation for restoring grassroots practitioners. The seminar participants were able to experience a change and development in their minds and body based on natural values and principles. They are committed to achieving legal status for Tongil Mudo to establish a framework for witnessing in Mexico. In Africa, new IYSP leaders were nominated in an online meeting. With the generational change in the Heavenly Parents Holy Community, the new leaders in the 5 African sub-regions are largely composed of second generations. Their vision and determination to restore all of Africa youth gives great hope for the future. In Oceania, parents and their children participated in a webinar on the second generation blessing. It was a time to confirm that the Heavenly Parents Holy Community is flourishing through the second generation youth. Korea, Japan, and the Philippines simultaneously held a leadership seminar to mark the 5th anniversary of Il-Won-do, a daily gymnastic style based on the movements of Tongil Mudo, co-founded by Master Sok Jun-ho and Moon Pyong-dae. True Mother has bestowed her blessing on this discipline to contribute to the welfare of the citizens of Jeonnebuk. The Tongil Mudo combines yoga and breathing techniques and consists of 8 types of exercises based on True Parents' teaching and Hundoke meditation. It was practiced by True Father while in prison, and True Mother practices daily for her health. All the participants attending the seminar pledged to fulfill their responsibility to bring health and happiness to the citizens of Jeonnebuk. The vision of a heavily unified Korea goes beyond the mere national aspiration and is becoming the dream of all the people around the world. Therefore, it is important for us to express our gratitude to True Mother, who has set the roadmap and laid the foundation for the realization of this noble goal. Therefore, our dearest wish is that the Heavenly Parents Holy Community will become the main entity that will guide us all towards the effective realization of a heavenly unified Korea. With these words, we close this edition. Thank you for following us, and may God bless you.
That's all for the weekly news report. And for the offering song, let us all welcome the Humawan sisters.
Happy to let you know you make me glow. I feel so good, it's true. So glad that I have you. You love me so. Now all is right. I always thank you for the glow and thank you for the joy. Thank you for the love you give to me. I'm glowing inside with your love shining through. Thank you for everything you do. I'm going inside because of you. Remember my growing years, they fill with joy because you're there for me. You kiss my fears away, you wipe those tears, you give me strength each day. I thank you for the glow and thank you for the joy. Thank you for the love you give to me. I'm glowing inside with your love shining through. Thank you for everything you do. I'm going inside because of you. Who knows what tomorrow brings? My glowing wings can make me fly. I reach and now I touch the sky. Because of you, I soar up high. So I must thank you for glowing. Thank you for the love you give to me. I'm glowing inside with your love shining through. Thank you for everything you do. I'm glowing inside because of you.
Thank you, Humawan sisters. And to give our message for today's Sunday service, let us all welcome Reverend Edgar Kanate, the lecturer from HG Chundu Asia Pacific Branch and the national leader of Sri Lanka. Welcome.
Thank you very much. So I'd like to share my screen. Can you see my screen, everybody? Okay, so good morning to all our brothers and sisters in the Philippines and abroad. Today, I'd like to share a message entitled Hyojong Chonwon Complex, the capital of Chonilguk. So, do you know that we already have a capital city for Chonilguk? Yes, that is our Hyojong Chonwon Complex. So, as you can see, this is Hyojong Chonwon Complex during winter. It's a very beautiful place as you can see, harmonizing nature with technology, with buildings that are really very beautiful, as you can see. This is the side view where you can see the newly constructed wall, and these walls really contributed to the beauty of the Wanglim Palace and the entirety of the Chonwon complex. This is the Chonbowon building where we the Chonbo couples are registered and their pictures and records are kept. And so this is like a genealogy center where the heavenly lineage of heavenly tribal messiahs will be kept. And Trumada said it will be there and kept for thousands of years. So this is the Chonbowon building, right? And this is the Jongshimwon. It is now called Chonshimwon by True Mother. This is the center of the Hyojong Chonwon complex. This is the place where we offer our sincere devotion, our Jongsong, our prayer. No, this is the I don't know much yet about the Korean house, but I heard this is the place where Heavenly Parent can take a rest. This is a very beautiful, like a Korean house. This is the view from the place where we can go boating. Yes, we have a service where boats can bring you around Chongpyong Lake. At that time, I think you can pay, if you pay 10,000 won, then you can ride that boat and go around Chongpyong Lake. But now it's frozen, and you can see it's a beauty, natural beauty, as it is frozen now. This is Chongpyong Lake in another view, another angle. It's really very wide and beautiful lake, and this is like beside of our property. So this is the Peace World Center. As you know, the Peace World Center is the biggest indoor coliseum or structure in Korea, and this is in our Hyojong Chonwon complex. This is where we conduct our many activities like the blessing and all the rallies of hope actually are conducted here. Even though we have the pandemic guidelines that only certain percentage, like 20% of the capacity of a certain place can be used, still we were able to use this place because it is like 25,000 people capacity. And when you say 20%, that's like 20% of 25,000, still we have 5,000 can still use this place following the law, no, of Korea. So this is a very amazing place for us to use for God's providence. This is now the Hyojong Magnolia International Medical Center. This is the #1 international medical center in Korea in terms of having or accommodating international patients around the world, foreigners, no, around the world. We have the most number of foreigners who are patients, no, in this international hospital. So even President Duterte visited this place and had his consultation here, because this is the most famous hospitals for foreigners in Korea. That is our Hyojong Magnolia International Medical Center. You know this very well. When you go to the Tree of Blessing, this is what we call the stairs going to the Tree of Blessing. Very beautiful place. Maybe how many steps? Maybe 600 to 700 steps. Then you can reach the top, which is the Tree of Blessing. So this is the Tree of Blessing during winter. As you can see, it's very beautiful, and it's overlooking the Chongpyong Lake. And in the opposite direction, you can see the view of the Peace Palace from the Tree of Blessing. You can also see the Chongshim Middle School, and our UPA also there. And soon, maybe the Chonwon-gong, will be seen very clearly from here. So this is a really amazing place to view all the Hyojong Chonwon complex, 360 degrees. So during springtime, our Hyojong Chonwon complex looks like this. Oh, which one is more beautiful, spring or winter? Anyway, whether it's winter or spring, it's still really, really beautiful. Usually, when there is advancement in science and technology, then the pollution is a natural consequence. But in this place, we can really proudly say that we have taken care of nature and really dominated nature with love and with science and technology. As you can see, our waste disposal management is really top of the line, really the best. And also the way we cure and we treat the water, and before releasing it to Chongpyong Lake, it is treated first so that it will not be polluted when it is released back to the lake. So you can see still our lake is very, very clean and not polluted. Our place, even though thousands, like tens of thousands of members come here to eat and to sleep and to stay for even up to 40 days, 120 days, still this place is really a combination of beauty combining nature and technology and human beings. Really an amazing model of how the world should be treated by humankind so that it can return real beauty to us, right? So when I personally when I go to Hyojong Chonwon complex, I can really feel very, very, how do you say, very good, calm. My heart is really very at ease, as if I'm in my original hometown. This is what I really feel whenever I go to this very amazing place. We have this kind of very amazing place, and this is just like, as True Mother declared, the restored Garden of Eden. Nature, you can feel God through nature. You can feel God's beauty through nature. You can feel God's love through the people coming here. So this is like a place where there is no crime, there is no smoking, drinking, immorality, only the harmony of nature with human beings, with the science and technology is really, how do you say, the model of what the kingdom of heaven will be. So this is the place, the restored Garden of Eden, where if this place can be expanded in the different nations around the world, we can see that the kingdom of heaven is a reality. Before, I thought that the kingdom of heaven can only be experienced when you die, when you go to the spiritual world. Also, if ever the Messiah will come, as Christians believe, the Messiah will turn this world into the kingdom of heaven. So I thought it will be done through magic, by means of the power of heaven, the power of God, by snapping your finger, kingdom of heaven. Let there be kingdom of heaven on earth, like this, and then kingdom of heaven appears. I never imagined that the kingdom of heaven can be and will be built by shedding your sweat, tears, and blood. And eventually we can see the reality of the heavenly kingdom step by step. And we can see it now through the Hyojong Chonwon complex that is directly managed by our beloved True Mother. How wonderful it is, brothers and sisters. The kingdom of heaven is a reality that can be experienced by all of humankind if only humankind will unite with our beloved True Mother. Aju? Very beautiful. Look at that. These are the flowers that you can see growing in our Hyojong Chonwon complex. Is it beautiful or not? Not beautiful? Actually, very beautiful. Look at this. Yellow color. Wow. How can yellow be so beautiful like this? And then the combination of this pink color. Oh, incredible, beautiful, beautiful flowers. Wow. Another shade of pink. The beauty of these flowers is incredible. Really, really amazing, right? See, these flowers you can see. Yes, so all of these were started by our beloved true parents, the perfected Adam and Eve. Eventually, even though Adam and Eve, our first human ancestors, failed in their responsibility, and therefore the position of true parents was left vacant, and the fallen humankind came from fallen Adam and Eve. But because of the victory of our beloved true parents, finally the perfected Adam and Eve, the true parents of all humankind, appeared on the earth. And they are the ones who started the Hyojong Chonwon complex. Are you happy, brothers and sisters? We have now the beginning of the heavenly kingdom can finally be seen and experienced by humankind because of the presence and the existence of perfected Adam and Eve. That is our beloved true parents. Let's give a big hand to our beloved true parents, everyone. Yeah, we have we are really very lucky that we are living at the time when our beloved true mother is still alive, on this earth. So this is our true father and true mother during the Holy Wedding in 1960. Wow, what a handsome and beautiful, true father, true mother we have. And for the longest year, they were together as wonderful husband and wife, showing us the model how husband and wife should live together. Isn't it beautiful? Look at that, true father and true mother. Again, they were married. No? How many times they were also married? So we, the blessed families, were married also many times, right? So this is really testifying to the world that through married couples, husband and wife, loving each other, this world can change, And starting with our beloved true parents, true father, true mother, then multiplying through the blessed families, we can really see the change that we would like to have in this world. How loving, how wonderful they are. When you simply by looking at them, wow, you can already see incredible happiness, right? Beloved true mother and true mother, really very cute, wonderful couple. Anyway, yes, our beloved true father already ascended to the spiritual world and is now directly managing the heavenly forces in the spiritual world, basically with the of course supporting true mother here on the earth. So true mother, the mother of peace, the mother of the universe, is now leading the providence here on the earth, isn't it? And true father from the spiritual world is supporting our beloved true mother here on this earth. So true mother at this point in the history, even just recently conducted the ceremony for the placement of the ridge beam of Chonwon-gung. True mother inaugurated, even during this pandemic, the structure and the framework were already built. This is the Chonwon-gung, and only a matter of continuously the construction will the basic and the most difficult part of constructing this building is already finished, and it's only a matter of time that this will be like the finishing touches, the walls, the roof, these things will be placed and this will be already finished. So this Chonwon-gung will be a very important place because this will be the international headquarters for our worldwide movement, the Heavenly Parents Holy Community, where all religions can come and pray, where all people coming from different religions can come and visit. This is really the place, the holy temple of our Heavenly Parent. The Chonil Temple will be placed here, and that this Chonwon-gung is actually 3 times bigger than Chonjong-gung. This is the place that our beloved true mother would like to offer to Heavenly Parent. Aju, this is the place, the capital of Chonilguk, Hyojong Chonwon Complex, and this is the place that will really be the building that will be used for heavenly purpose, probably to educate the VIPs, the presidents, the heads of states, the media, the members of parliament, the leaders of religions, and the many other world leaders come to visit this place and be educated and be raised up to become Chonilguk citizens who can work to contribute to the accomplishment of a world of lasting peace. How wonderful it is. It was inaugurated with in this kind of very beautiful day of inauguration, And if it will be finished, it will look like this. You can see. Wow. So more information will be given to us, as this is being constructed. And based on our latest information, on May 5, 2023, this will be inaugurated in Korea. This will be officially opened by True Mother. So that means that we have to prepare now, to really save money and really all together go there and witness to this great event, the opening of Chonwon-gung. Okay, this is the Holy Temple of Heavenly Parent. Amazing. So, what is the center of Chonwon Complex? What is the center of this HJ Chonwon Complex? What do you think is the center, brothers and sisters? So, the center is actually what we call the Chonsimwon. It is now called Chonsimwon. This is the most holy place where we offer our sincere devotions, our prayer, our cheongsong, our sincerity, our tears, our sacrifices. We communicate with Heavenly Parent. We offer our heart of sympathy, our heart of determination to really accomplish our purpose, our responsibility. This is an amazing place where when you go to Chongpyeong, we call now Chonwon Complex, the first place that you have to visit before you do anything else is this place, right? You have to go there and pray and greet Heavenly Parents and True Parents. This is really amazing place. Many miracles happen in this place as brothers and sisters offer their sincere devotion. So, Chonsimwon is the center of this Hyojong Chonwon Complex, and inside the Chonsimwon is like this. You can see here our beloved True Parents picture, and then Hyojinim, True Parents' eldest son, and Hungjinim, True Parents' second son. And the Timonim's picture here. You can also see the candles there. Anyway, there is a memo from international headquarters. As you can see in this memo, you can see here Chonsimwon Special Prayer Hall ceremony to bequeath grace. That means that True Mother gave instruction that this Chonsimwon Prayer Hall will be bequeathed, given to the 2,400 centers or churches around the world. We have to inherit the spiritual foundation, the very center of Hyojong Chonwon Complex, which is the Chonsimwon. We have to inherit our nations, our prayer rooms should inherit this and receive grace and heavenly fortune centering on this Chonsimwon Special Prayer Hall. So this direction was given by True Mother. So our regional presidents will be giving us this because it was already bequeathed last April 30. So you can see each nation, and then each centers, 2,400 centers around the world will receive True Parents' portrait. And then in our prayer room, meaning we will convert our prayer room into Chonsimwon Special Prayer Rooms. True Parents' portrait, Hyojinim, Hungjinim, and Demonim's photo. We have the 8 candles. So what is the meaning? What is being represented by 8 candles? It represents who? True Father, True Mother, Hyojinim, Hungjinim, Yangjinim, Hyejinim. These are the true children who are already in the spiritual world. And Demonim. And the 8th candle, to nurture infants in their growth. This is those who died while they're still infants, and in the spiritual world they can grow through this candle, through this candle by putting it on the burning candle continuously. This can contribute to the growth of the infants who died, most especially second generation, and eventually after some time they can join the blessing even though they already died physically. Amazing, right? And then number 4, we have the Yojongwon. What is the Yojongwon? This is the house of absolute good spirits. So when we put this house of absolute good spirits, in the center, in the prayer room. What does that mean? That means that good spirits can have a place to live and to be together. So, once you have this Hyojongwon, the people who died in the past who really love this nation can have a place to stay, and anytime they can help us in our mission. They can help us in our responsibility to restore the nation, or restore your area, restore your province, or restore the place where your center is located. Wow! So absolute good spirits can easily be mobilized because they have a place to stay together. They can easily have meeting, collaborate together, how they can support us. So because they are living in one house together, they can support us with much power and much unity and coordination. So we can have more spiritual power, spiritual support from the spiritual world if we have Hyojongwon in our prayer room, no? And this will be bequeathed, will be given to all our 2,400 centers around the world. So what is the meaning of the Chonchimwon bequeath given to all the 2,400 centers around the world? What is the meaning of that? Wow! What is the center of Hyojong Chonwon complex? That is the Chonchimwon Special Prayer Hall. If this will be given to the nations, to the centers around the world, the meaning of this is that we now have the center, the place where we can multiply absolute good spirits, and the works of heaven can easily expand, and we can have our own Hyojong Chonwon complex in our nations or in our provinces, or starting with our centers. We have that kind, or the level of spiritual support. Amazing, Adju. Meaning God's kingdom can spread to all nations of the world, centering on the restored Garden of Eden, the Hyojong Chonwon complex, with Chonchimwon as the center. Adju, very, very amazing. So our beloved true parents, wow, true father leading the spiritual world, and true mother leading the physical world, united together, wow, we can definitely build and settle Chonilguk in our nations. Yes, without the support of the spiritual world, God cannot create the original world. But now, the spiritual world is working with us. Therefore, we are now the time that this is now the time where we can build the substantial Chonilguk in our areas of responsibility. So all of this, how do you say, the heavenly kingdom and all of this special grace started with this Hyojong Chonwon complex. Is it beautiful or not? You can see the president of a Chonwon, Hyojong Chonwon complex, Reverend Igi Song. He is there. He is presenting this Hyojong Chonwon complex. So you can see this very beautiful place now. Okay, so everything starts with this place. Now the question is, brothers and sisters, on what foundation Korea was able to build the Chonwon complex? Do you want the Hyojong Chonwon complex to also be established in our nation? I think so. I also want to have that kind of place. Amazing. Restored Garden of Eden. Started there in Korea. That means here in the Philippines, or even in the nations where we are at, or mission nations where we have assigned to us, we can build also the same foundation as in Korea. So let's study, brothers and sisters, on what foundation Korea was able to build the Chonwon complex. So it is the women of Chonilguk. Number one, the women missionaries' sacrifices. Second is because of the praiseworthy acts of patriotism made by our early members. Third, the desperate heart for independence, meaning to liberate our nation from Satan's control. Number four, passionate heart of gaining back our homeland, which was taken by Satan due to the fall. So one by one, I would like to discuss this one, brothers and sisters. First, the women missionaries' sacrifices. Let me read from True Mother's autobiography. The mother is the center of the family. And when she is not home, even for a day or two, the family suffers. Our wives and mothers went out, not for a day or two, but for 3 years. Wow! This is the situation of our early Korean wives, early Korean mothers. Our movement started in Korea. How do you think our movement spread around the world? How do you think it happened? Because of the sacrifices of our early members. And how did they do it? In Korea, after the Korean War, Korea really very, very poor. Very, very poor nation. Almost they cannot eat 3 meals a day. Impossible. Because very poor. And yet, our Korean wives, our Korean mothers were sent by true Father in the front line of God's providence. They were sent. And then, they were like not only for a day or two, but for 3 years. Let's continue. For every father who had to cradle and feed a child, begging for his mother's milk, a mother on mission was squeezing milk out of her swollen breast and weeping. Can you imagine when these Korean mothers like give birth to their baby after 100 days? They left their baby to their husbands, and the mothers go to the front line to do witnessing in order to expand our movement, for in order to really save the nation of Korea at the time. So when you are a mother, 100 days after you give birth, you still experience the pains of childbirth, right? And then the breast actually has milk, full of milk, because mothers are designed by God to really feed the baby with the milk in their breast. But because the baby and the mother are separated, so the breast becomes swollen with milk. And even though mothers want to forget their baby to focus on their mission, but they cannot because of their physical condition. They have to squeeze the milk out of their swollen breast. And then they had no choice but to remember their baby. And then they cried. But they offered this sacrifice for the sake of the providence, for the sake of advancing the providence of expanding Chonilguk, expanding our movement through witnessing. This is the situation of our early mothers, the Korean wives. And then, let me continue. Thus far, it has been hidden from view in our nation's history, but one day it will be revealed. As the Unification Church spread to other countries, blessed wives around the world followed the example of the early Korean wives and their families. Wow, you can see. Because of our unification mothers, no, the mothers, these Korean wives, actually nobody know. This history is actually like hidden, not yet recognized by even the government of Korea. But because of these mothers who sacrificed for the sake of the nation of Korea, the nation of Korea actually developed. So we call this the New Village Movement, which was started by the 600 missionaries sent by true parents to the villages of Korea. And this initiated the way even for the government to follow this model. And because of this New Village Movement, Korea actually developed very fast from a nation devastated by war to now an advanced nation, no, for the world. An advanced nation, one of the advanced nations, belong to the top 10 nations. No, that really very developed top 10 nations of the world. So, now let's go to the number 2, praiseworthy acts of patriotism. The blessed wives buried their pain in their hearts, for they knew that their mission was for the sake of the nation. In hindsight, their work has borne great fruit and can only be considered the most praiseworthy act of patriotism. Yeah, look at that. So, our Korean mothers did this like sacrifice, and it bear fruit, no? That directly influenced the development of the nation. This is really considered as the most praiseworthy act of patriotism. You know, when brothers really do some kind of act of patriotism, this is really like they leave behind their family. But the case of mothers is really very more difficult than what the husbands or the brothers has been doing to save the nation. They even like go to the front line to defend their nation. But in the case of the mothers, they leave their children behind, and they really work very hard not to kill people but to give life to the people, give life. So this kind of act of patriotism needs to be what? Praised, needs to be recognized, but nobody recognized their effort. This is really considered to be the most praiseworthy act of patriotism, but this is hidden from the history. But in the future, according to True Mother, this praiseworthy act of patriotism will be recognized and will be known to the whole nation and to the whole world because of the sacrifice of these Korean mothers in the early days of our movement. Our movement can expand throughout the world, and all of us who came from the Philippines, Thailand, or many other nations around the world, we received the blessing, we met through parents, our lives completely changed because of these Korean mothers who sacrificed in the early days of our movement in Korea. We have to really be grateful to these amazing Korean mothers in the early days. Let me continue. Thus, this brilliant chapter has been written in the history not just of Korea but of all nations. All blessed wives stand on this foundation and are carrying on this tradition. It is a story of women sacrificing to preserve the nation and the world. Yeah, that's why our mother nation of Japan, even sent missionaries to the world. You remember? 10 Japanese missionaries were sent to 160 nations of the world. A total of 1,600 Japanese missionaries, including my wife. My wife was one of the 10 Japanese missionaries to Congo, in Brazzaville, in Africa. Yeah, for 3 years, they really sacrificed for the sake of Africa. And as you can see, because of their sacrifices, the providence in those nations can advance and can develop. And finally, you can see now what's happening in Africa, right? Africa is now showing great response, most especially with Prophet Radebe, with 200,000 members of his congregation joining the blessing, changing the name of his church to become Family Federation, and educating the bishops and the leaders of Christianity in his congregation about the divine principle, about true parents. Even just recently attended the special great works. Wow, 200,000 people attending the special great works online, and this is now what's happening in Africa. Africa is now really advancing forward and really showing the model for the world to follow our beloved True Mother. So let's now go to the desperate heart of independence. True Mother's words. 100 years ago, for the liberation of her homeland, my maternal grandmother waved the Korean flag that she had hidden in her bosom. Now, for the liberation of our global family's homeland, we must raise the Heavenly Parents' flag that we have hidden in our bosom. Just like her, we must passionately live for God's kingdom of Chonilguk. Oh, look at that. Wow, we are in the same situation 100 years ago, compared to the maternal grandmother of True Mother, who raised the Korean flag, passionate to liberate the nation of Korea against Japan occupation at the time. So her desperate heart, is passionate heart to be independent. My nation should be independent. My nation should be liberated from this control of other nations and become a nation that I can really regain as an independent nation. That kind of passionate heart we should also have in our time today. We have to liberate God's nation, God's world. And last, the passionate heart of gaining back the homeland. Let me read through Mother's speech. Over the decades, I have kept a particular photograph close to my heart. When I close my eyes, I can clearly see it. It is with a woman with a little girl on her back, holding the Korean flag. It was taken in the market of Anju, my hometown. The woman's face is flushed with desperation, and it looks as if she wants to grab onto someone and plead her difficult situation. The image is of my maternal grandmother, Jo Won Mo, carrying her daughter, my mother, Hun Sune, on her back, as she took part in the independence movement on the 1st of March in 1919. My maternal uncle used to tell me stories as we look at the photo. Unfortunately, we did not bring it with us when we fled the north. It is probably safe somewhere in my hometown. And there was a very similar photograph of Grandmother Jo waving the Korean flag, but this one was taken August 15, 1945. And in that photo, it is me she is carrying on her back. This time, her face is filled with joy, and she looks ready to embrace everyone she meets. Her expressions in those two photos contrast the sorrow of losing one's nation with the joy of gaining it back. Look at that. No? In the first photo, 1919, the photo of a woman carrying a daughter on her back, desperate to really liberate his nation. And then the next photo, that is the time the mother of true mother, and then true mother on her mother's back. It is the heart of what joy of gaining back the independence, no, of her nation. So, true mother said, our sorrow of having lost God's world is soon to transform into a joy of gaining it back. Adieu. Wow, we can gain back this world that was lost to Satan because of the fall. We can gain it back, brothers and sisters. The joy of gaining back God's world, God's kingdom, is now at hand, centering on True Mother's leadership. What a wonderful time we are living in today, my dear brothers and sisters. But let me ask you this question. How do we gain back God's world, which was lost due to the fall? How do we gain back God's world? Let us read True Mother's speech. Sometimes I ask myself, what will save the world for the sake of our Heavenly Parent? Korea is not alone on the demographic cliff. What is a demographic cliff? It is this nation of Japan, China, Europe, Russia. The birth rate is in decline in many countries. The demographic cliff is like the decline of the birth rate. As you can see, many advanced nations now, they're supposed to really develop economically, right? They focus on their economy, right? They really do their best to develop their economy. But the problem is, they were not able to safeguard the husband and wife relationship, the family. And so, in advanced nations nowadays, not so many people would like to get married. The divorce rate is getting higher. Like in California, in America, where my sister is living, she told me, in California, 3 years ago, 60% of marriages ended in divorce. So 60% ended in divorce. So now nobody almost would like to get married. No? If you really love each other and get married, they don't want to have many children. Maybe only one, or maximum is 2 children. And they don't want to have more. Why? Because it's very expensive to send them to school. Very expensive to buy food and maintain them. No, the health care, the education expenses, the how do you say? All other expenses related with the raising up a child. Oh my goodness, you have to get 2 or 3 jobs, so that you can send your children to good school. So 1 or 2 should be enough. But according to experts, if one couple can only have 2 children, what will happen if one of the child dies young? So when the parents, husband and wife, eventually die, then they should be replaced by 2 children, right? But if one of the child dies young, big problem. Only one is replaced. So according to experts, in order to maintain the population of a certain nation, birth rate should be at least 2.3. 2.3 babies in one family. But only 2 maximum. That's the reality of advanced nations now. And many does not want to have children. In America, one 7-year-old was disciplined by the parent. This 7-year-old called the 911. The parents went to prison. So why will you have many children if they will just send you to prison? My goodness, you spend a lot of money, you work very hard, and then for that child, and then they call 911. My goodness, and then you go to prison. Who wants to have many children if that is the situation? So problem. That's why in advanced nations, what happens? They don't want to have many children, and then they only satisfied with the one night stand, boyfriend girlfriend, like cohabitation, living in together, no need to get married. So they don't want to have many children. If they really love each other, only maximum 2 children. And then we have this same-sex marriage, very famous now in America, most especially in San Francisco, the center of homosexuality. There, so many do the same-sex marriage, and then can they have baby? Cannot have baby. So many children born only out of accident, because boyfriend girlfriend had sex and finally cannot abort anymore, and then baby appear. Only by accident children are born, and then those who love each other, only very few babies. So what is the future of the nation if it is like that? It is a demographic cliff, as Trumada said. So many elementary school now in Japan, many elementary school now in Korea are closing down because they don't have students. They don't have children there. Very big problem now. So let's continue mother's speech. The only solution is to bring joy to marriages through the blessing in harmony with Heavenly Parent. Look at that. The only solution, according to True Mother, is to bring joy to marriages. Yeah, marriages should be happy. Husband and wife should always be happy together, isn't it? Should be happy, and then they build a happy family where God's love is being practiced. The 4 kinds of love is being practiced. Sacrifice for each other, live for the sake of each other. It is in the family. When we practice true love, how happy, how wonderful it is, right? Parents and children love each other. Brothers and sisters love each other. Wow! Husband and wife love each other. So this kind of love is present in the family, centered on God, centered on true parents. We would like to have many children, right? The more children, more happy. That is the only solution for this problem now in advanced nations. Let me continue. The blessing will bring peace within ourselves, within our families and communities, nation and the world, heaven and earth. That is like the Heavenly Parent Holy Community. Yeah. So, brothers and sisters, what shall we do now? What shall we do? Let's continue. The dawn of a new history is growing brighter. Through the manifestation of the only begotten daughter in the providence of restoration, humanity has new hope. Because of our beloved true mother, the only begotten daughter, we are completing heaven's providence, reaching our global village with the message of the Mother of Peace. Vision 2020 brought us to the mountaintop. Now, let us greet the rising sun with all our hearts. Let us advance together into the bright, new, hopeful era of the settlement of God's kingdom. Chon Il Guk. Brothers and sisters, this is the last words in True Mother's autobiography. Chon Il Guk. Settlement of God's kingdom. Chon Il Guk. How do we do this? How do we do this? By means of promoting the blessing. Promoting the blessing will save the nations. Promoting the blessing will save the world. So in conclusion, the capital city of Chonilguk is already identified and it's already in place, brothers and sisters. So the whole world is like God's nation, and our countries are like the provinces of Chonilguk that needs to be liberated. So in the near future, our nation, Philippines, will become the province of the Philippines, no? The province of Thailand, province of Malaysia, no? The province of the United States of America. And the whole world will become one nation. That is we call Chonilguk. We have to regain regain our original homeland, regain God's world, right? So let's continue. Let us spread the blessing to the whole world through Heavenly Tribal Messiah missions and be registered as Chonbo couples, the citizens of God's kingdom. Yes, brothers and sisters. As we visit our Hyojong Chonwon complex, the capital of Chonilguk, heavenly parents and true parents will be very happy. Most especially, we have to be prepared to go there. To do that, we have to liberate and bless 430 generations of our ancestors. And then, we have to witness and take care of 430 couples in our HTM area. And really take care directly of our 43 couples. And then, by doing so, we become victorious heavenly tribal messiahs. And I tell you, True Father said, if there are 12 victorious heavenly tribal messiahs in a nation, it will only be a matter of time that that nation will be restored. So, this is how we liberate our nation, brothers and sisters. This is how we liberate God's world. Liberate this world. How do we do that? We do the HTM mission, and most especially liberate our ancestors and bless our ancestors. This is the responsibility and the way that we have to go. No need to get what do you call that? Like guns or armalites or machinery or some kind of weapons in order to win this war. To win this war and liberating our nation, my dear brothers and sisters, the war that we have to win first is the unity of our mind and body. We have to win this war. Our mind should be united with our body centered on God. And we become the model. The model. And by loving, practicing the 4 realms of heart in our family, we become the model family. By doing so, as the model family, we can restore our tribe and bless 430 couples. And then we liberate our ancestors, 430 generation, registered as Chonbo couples. This is the way we liberate our nation. This is the way that we can really contribute to Chonilguk and make our nation with the Hyojong Chonwon complex, really the restored Garden of Eden, be created in our nations and connect to the capital city in Korea. Brothers and sisters, we are so lucky and happy people that we are living in this very amazing time. Let us really work together and accomplish the liberation of our province, which is the province of the Philippines. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. So, at this point, I'd like to offer a prayer. Please join me in prayer, brothers and sisters. Our most beloved heavenly parents, the true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts that we can come to this great time of the providence where the capital of Chonilguk can be proclaimed and can be determined and is now in place, a substantial capital on earth that all of humankind can visit, all of humankind can see. We have now this vision as on what a restored Garden of Eden looks like. And it is the place that really no immorality, no crime, no smoking and drinking, no pollution, and really the beauty of nature, the beauty of your creation, that we can receive your love through nature. We can receive your love through people around, sacrificing for each other, living for the sake of each other. In the foundation of absolute sexual morality has been relating with each other as true brothers and sisters. How wonderful this place is, heavenly parents, the substantial Garden of Eden. What the Garden of Eden would have been if Adam and Eve did not fall. This is really an amazing time of the providence, with the Chonwon Gong being constructed and will be opened on May 5, 2023. We can have the greatest hope that the kingdom of heaven can truly be experienced by all of humankind. Heavenly parents, you are our heavenly parent who loves us very much. Even a parent like me, whenever I see my son, whenever I see my wife in pain and in suffering, it really brings incredible suffering in my heart just to hear the sounds of suffering in my family, my son and my wife. How much more, Heavenly Parents, you, when you look at the people of this world being killed and even dying because of starvation, with 60,000 people dying every day because of starvation in Africa, with the war going on around the world, with so many crimes and young people abusing their lives through drugs and smoking and drinking and immorality. How much more your heart has been crying hearing this kind of suffering from your children. This kind of suffering should end in our time today as we mobilize to the Heavenly Tribal Messiah mission. Heavenly Parents, use us as your instrument to embrace the 7.8 billion people of the world, with True Mother leading us here on this earth, with a True Father leading the heavenly forces in heaven to support us here on the physical world. We will be victorious. There is nothing we cannot accomplish in our time today. Heavenly Parents, the time has come when your suffering will be relieved, when your suffering will end, Heavenly Parents, because humankind will be saved. Humankind will go back to the original Garden of Eden, to the original position where we can attend you and we can love you and we can stand as your beloved sons and daughters. Heavenly Parents, please use us as your instrument to embrace the people of our nation, the people around the world, and eventually establish the heavenly kingdom here on the earth, where all of humankind can love each other as true brothers and sisters, regardless of race, nationality, and religion. Allow us to see the day when, even only for a day or a month of a year, our beloved True Mother can live in a restored world, in a restored nation, in a restored world before she goes to the spiritual world. We were not able to do this at the time of our beloved True Father. True Father passed on to the spiritual world without living even only for a day in a restored nation. This time we cannot fail. We have to be victorious in restoring a nation where our True Mother can really live, not only for a day, but for months and years before she passes on to the spiritual world. This is our great opportunity and great chance, and we cannot miss this opportunity. The providence of restoration, the providence of building God's kingdom cannot be delayed anymore. By us uniting absolutely with each other, centering on True Mother, we know that this can eventually come to pass. The heavenly kingdom, the restored Garden of Eden is already here. The heavenly kingdom will definitely be realized. Heavenly Parents, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts to you. We offer our sincerity and devotion, most especially together with True Mother in this very important time. With a grateful heart, I pray and report this in my name, Edgar Nisay Tanate, Central Blessed Family, Jew.
Thank you so much, Reverend Edgar. And in this moment of time, let us all sing the offertory song, song number 10, My Offering. To lead us the offertory prayer, let us all welcome Virginia Ramizo.
Let us bow our head. Let us pray. Our most beloved Heavenly Parent, our trusty parents of heaven and earth and humankind, we are so grateful for this day, another extension of our lives here on earth, and also the message that we received from our Reverend Tanate. And this will be our inspiration to go on forward to our mission to give life to all the people, and hopefully we should win this fight, this battle, Heavenly Parent, that we can offer to you and our two parents. And Heavenly Parent, two parents, for we know that true happiness waiting for us if we win this fight. And for our offering, Heavenly Parent, to parents, please accept all of offerings from our brothers and sisters, precious brothers and sisters, from their hard work and sweat, and may that we can offer more for the providence of restoration. Heavenly Parents, I humbly offer and pray this, report this in behalf of this congregation, in my name, Regina Ramizo and Samson Ramizo, Center Bliss Family. Aju.
In this moment of time, let us all have our unison prayer. And this time, let us all sing the recessional song, song number 33, By the Spring of Life.
At last we are released.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. Happy Sunday, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Dapat ikaw na na. Tulog. Evening. O may tingog doon. Kamute na.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.